Hi, I'm Narid Ansari, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can call the smart contract functions from JavaScript and why you should do that. So without any further ado, let's begin. You know that this video is part of a video series about NFT game. We start from scratch and now we create a simple contract without any standard. You know that at the end we will add ERC 721 and we will use that. But for simplicity, we will use just this simple contract. We did write this simple contract with Solidity in Remix IDE and we deploy it in our Gnash test network, right? So now I'm gonna show you how you can call all of these functions like add character and get character from a JavaScript file. So first of all, what you need to have is to go to the chain safe GitHub in here and in web3.js. What is web3? Let me explain to you. Web3, you know that web 1 is like Google, like Yahoo and all of that, and web 2 is like Facebook, Twitter and all of those that you can interact with, and web 3 is all about blockchain. So you create an app or game and you deploy it on blockchain and your app will run in blockchain, and that's called web3. Okay, so for using this web3 we need web3.js library. Okay, so when we open this in github.com chainsafe web3.js, you should go to this, and in here you can see there is two of them in here, and the one that I want to use is web3.min.js. So click on it and or click on raw in here or download it. Okay, and it will give you a .js file, that is a JavaScript library that we can use to connect to blockchain and call our functions, right? So when you download it, go somewhere in your computer, click a new folder. I want to call it NFT test, for example. Okay, I did create a new folder in here and I call it NFT test or whatever. Just create a text file in here. I want to call it my NFT or whatever. Okay, and the extension of that I want it to be HTML. Okay, so with that we can test some JavaScript code, right? So let's just open it in VS Code, or we can just drag and drop it in our VS Code, hit open, and you can see at default there is nothing in it. When you download this web3.min.js, just put it in your folder. Okay, I did download it, so I copy pasted from my download folder to this folder. Now we have all the functions that our web3.js has. Okay, we can use it, right? So for finding out how you can call those functions, you can go to the web3js.read the docs.io in here, and you can read through all of its documentation. So for example, in here, for calling our method, we can do it like this, and they give us a lot of cool example. Like when you want to execute a function on the blockchain of your contract or of your smart contract, in here you can say my contract.method, your method. Okay, and after that you should say .call, and in here you should say from what address you want to call it. Okay, this from is important when you have a ERC 721 standard. Okay, because some function just owner can execute them and some function everybody can execute them, so you need this from as well. And it will show you how you can use callback to run your method, how you can use promise to use your method, and in most cases I will use promise because it's easier to do, right? So I will talk about promises more, don't worry about it. Next, there is a page in here that if you search for calling a smart contract from JavaScript, you can find it. It will tell you a step by step what you should do to create your JavaScript file. So with that JavaScript file you can call whatever function that you have in your smart contract, like add characters and get characters, right? So I'm gonna show all of them. So first of all, what we are going to do in this .html file, if you don't know about HTML codes and JavaScript code, don't worry about it. It's just for testing right now. I'm not doing anything. It's just for testing our code. And you can use this template that I'm writing in here for your testing as well. So first of all, what we need a head tag in here, okay? So inside this head, we should say meta, and in here char set, I want it to be UTF-8. Okay, and after that just close it, and after that we want to import the web3.min.js library that we just copy in our folder. This one we want to import it and use all of those functions, right? So let's just do that. We can say a script, the type is text JavaScript, and the source file that we want to import is in our folder, and you can see the Visual Studio Code give us some suggestion that we want this, right? So now let's just close this script, and that's all we need to do in this head tag. Okay, so with this 2 line of code, we just import this web3 min or minimum.js. Okay, next I want to run an script, so let's just create a script tag in here. Let's just close it right now, and everything that we put in this script tag will be in JavaScript language, right? We want to test it. It's just for testing. Don't worry about it if you don't know about these tags and how you can write in JavaScript language. It's a lot like gamemaker language, but don't worry about it. I'm just testing it, and after we finished with this playlist of video, you can create whatever function in JavaScript to call your methods for your NFT game. Don't worry about it. JavaScript has a lot of things, but we just want those functionality for our NFT game, right? So you don't need to learn all about JavaScript file. What we need, let's just go to our Remix IDE. You can see we compile it successfully. We compile these characters.sol that we create together, and if you go to this Solidity compiler in here, there is a button for copying the ABI file, and this ABI file is important because when you deploy your smart contract, you don't have access to anything on there. Okay, you just have an address of that contract. So with this ABI file, if you copy it, with that you can have access to those functions that you create, like add characters and get characters, right? So after you copy it from here, in here we can create a constant. Let's just call it ABI equal to our ABI that we just copy it. Okay, so you can see it here. You just say const ABI equal to whatever that you copy from Remix ID. Let's just indent this line so we can see it clearly. So in here you can see some input, and you remember we have two most important function. If you go down in here, we have an add character function, and we have characters that we can get, and we have get character function, and this ABI string that we copy from Remix ID will help us to execute those functions. Okay, so let's just save this, Control S to save it, and collapse this. Okay, we have the ABI, right? So now that we have our ABI, we need the address of our smart contract or on our testnet, right? So for that we can say const, let's name it my smart contract address. Okay, so with that we have the address, so it should be on a string, but where we can get that address. So for example, let's just go to our, in this Remix IDE, let's just go to this deploy and run transaction. I want to deploy it on Gnash. I did talk about the Gnash, so choose Gnash, and after that hit OK, and it will be connected. And in here, what we should do, we should select our characters. Okay, so we want to deploy these characters and hit deploy, and you can see it deploys successfully on Gnash, and you can see all the function add character, character count, characters, and get character. Everything is deployed correctly. So if we go to our Gnash in transaction, at the top it said contract creation. Okay, if we click on it, it will give us a created contract address, and we should copy this address. Okay, so with that we have access to our smart contract on our testnet. So let's just paste it here. So now with that we have the ABI file and the address of our smart contract. Okay, when you upload or deploy your smart contract in actual net, okay, you have this ABI file when you compile your project, and they give you this address as well. So that is just the difference between Gnash and main testnet, right? So after we did this, we should create a new instance of this web3 function so we can use it in our project, right? So for that, we can create another constant, and let's just call it web3, okay, equal to new web3, okay, and inside the parentheses you should give the address of our testnet or our mainnet or whatever net that you, whatever blockchain net that you deploy your contract. So for example, in here we uploaded in Gnash in here, okay, and it will give you an RPC server. So all of the nets, all of the blockchain net has an address as well. So in this example, because we use Gnash as a local testnet, we have it like this as a local network, right? So let's just copy this and paste it inside here on this double quotation, right? So now that we have an instance of Web3, we can connect to our smart contract, right? So for that, we can again create the constant, and in here I want to say my smart contract, okay, or whatever you want to call it, okay? My smart contract is equal to new web3, okay, this one that we create in here, dot ETH for Ethereum, okay, dot contract, okay. And inside this function, okay, first we should give it the API, and after that the address of our smart contract. So let's just copy and paste this here, and with that we will be connected to our smart contract on this network that we give it the RPC server address. Okay, so now we are connected, and if you want to know where did I find out about these, I did show you at the beginning of this video. First of all, you can go here in web3js.readthedocs.io, and it explains everything, okay, from a start. Okay, and it will give you example as well, but I read through all of these and I want to explain it what you need, okay, because there is a lot of options in here that you don't need, and the one that you need I will show you. The most important one is this contract as at the beginning, right? So if you go to this page again, it will tell you everything about this, how you can call a smart contract from JavaScript. And you can see first of all it add the API file, after that it create a constant and equal it to this, and after that it create a contract and connect it to our blockchain like this, and after that there's some function for getting some information and how you can execute the function on your contract. So let's just not worry about that. You can just copy and paste from here, but I'm gonna show you a step by step how you can do it like this, right? So for example, let's just go to Remix IDE. We want to use this get character function. Okay, let's just copy its name from here and go here, and what we should do in here, we say my smart contract dot methods, okay, dot get character. Okay, and in this get character function, you remember it from here, we should give it an ID of our character that we want to get, right? So it need an ID. So for example, for at default, let's just put 0 in here because we want to get the first character, right? And after that, what you should do, you should say dot call, okay, and it will create a promise for us. Let me show you in here. So if we search in here in this documentation methods, and you can see it give us two options in here, one for call and one for send. So first of all, we want to call a function. What is difference between call and send? When you say call, it will be free and you don't need to pay anything to call a function. But when you tell it to send, it is when you want to add a character or change something in your smart contract and it need you to pay something, some gas fee, right? So first of all, let's just call this, use this call function. Okay, so let's just search for that. You can see an example in here. First of all, it create a contract like this. It will connect blockchain like this, like we have did it with API and address. And after that, it say my contract dot methods dot my function, and after that dot call, and it will use a promise like this, right? So let's just do that. So in here we say dot then, and in this then function, there will be a data response, right? Let's just put it on the new line like this, and when the data received, we can show it with console.log, okay? And in this console.log, we want to show the data, right? So that's all we need to do to get the character number 0. Okay, so let's just save it, and let's just add a character like this to here. Let me again, you remember we create this contract. Let's just click on it and copy this address, okay, because I want to add a character to it, right? Delete everything in here, and you can see there is two options in this deploy and run transaction, one for deploying and one for connecting to a smart contract. And in here, paste that address and click at address, and it will open up that smart contract. And in here we can add a character to that smart contract that we just deploy, right? So let's just give it some value, like level to be 20, rarity be 10, for example, and all of that be 1, okay, for testing, right? Transact, and you can see it will finish quickly. And now in here, in this get character, if we put 0 in here, it will give us the tuple of our value, 0, 0, 10 for level up, I think, and 1, 1, 1 that we put in here, right? So this is our function, and now let's just test our code in here, okay? So for testing that, save this, make sure you save it and open it up in Chrome or whatever browser that you have. And after that, go to more tools in here, go to developer tools and go to consoles, okay? It give us an error in here, uncut syntax error, unexpected token, okay? So I made a mistake in here, so I shouldn't do it like this, so let's just remove this, sorry about that. And in here, what we should do, we should say, tell it like this, okay? And in here, we can have our function like this. At the end, it should be semicolon. and console.log, and in here we want to show the data, right? And no, let's just run it again to see if it, so no, let's just run it again to see if it's give us an error, and you can see it won't give us an error, and it give us the tuple that we have: level 20, id 0, rarity 10, price 1, speed 1. And if you expand this, you can see it clearly: hit point 1, id 0, level 20, price 1, and all of that, right? So we successfully call a function on our test blockchain network, right? So in the next video I will show you how you can instead of this call, how you can use send function to access these add characters. Okay, and after that we learn that we create an extension off of this file, and after that we go to gamemaker to test it there as well. I hope you like this video. Please, if you want to help me, hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.